Hey, Rainicorns! It's Ellie, the Empress here. Go on a little walk with me. So, a lot of y'all know I'm a spiritual vlogger, okay? Like, yes, I teach at times. This channel was intentionally started to vlog my experiences. And I'll be honest, I'm one of the very few who get out and active, not just in my own backyard, literally, but also in the community. Now, I've been part of community development and participation for a very long time, for my entire life, really. And it was more in the celebrity space. And I detached from that aspect of my quote unquote celebrity type roots in order to do what I felt was right in the name of spirituality. I just turned on my crazy hose. So now I'm returning back to my roots in a very literal sense where I have done ancestral work spiritually and it has manifested into the physical realm. There is a whole bunch of squirrels and birds like right next to me. So I have a little bit of my hair ether and I'm going to put it in my new garden. I have a new garden because I had to move and everything got crazy. So this is what I'm working with now. So here I am taking the ether and simply placing it in the soil. Nothing special. This is what I do as a spiritual offering, and ether is nutrient for soil. So I just drown it. Most of the time I put it in compost, but this is a spiritual offering for the topic of this video today. And I will be talking about Eshu, also known as Elegba, also known as Elegba. I predominantly resonate with the Elegba essence. And so I'll be talking about that more today. Just wanted to show you how I connect with nature. And this is what I do for my ancestral practices. And this is very much tied to my spirituality. Okay. So give it a nice little soak. Some light, some light. So yeah, that's what I be doing. So this is messy, but it's compost, so who cares? You can see some of the hair right there, and it's like a bunch of vegetables and stuff. And so yeah, eggshells, all that stuff. But you know, it's compost. We'll get that cleaned up later. Okay, so why do I bring up growing up as a celebrity of sorts, having some sort of fame, some sort of notoriety as a young person, and community involvement, releasing that aspect of living, and then going back to it? What's the point of that? Why am I bringing it up? Why is that the topic of today? So, if you know anything about Eshu, Eshu is the messenger god. And a lot of us over here are what I call rainicorns. And that is the rainbow unicorn, which is also associated with being a dragon, which is also associated with being a serpent. Who does all that remind you of? Oshunmare. So, resonating a whole lot with Oshunmare, there's a lot of characteristics that are very similar to Eshu, Elegba. And realizing that I never resonated with being a daughter of this, a daughter of that, a daughter of this entity, a daughter of that entity. It was always, I carried essences of and I walked through the energy of. I genuinely do feel that connection to Elegba, being a daughter of Elegba. Elegba, using the essence of Eshu, is the messenger. And when we talk about things like social media influencers and people of influence, they're simply messengers of certain, whether we call them narratives or we call them thought patterns, trends, information in general, whether it's helpful or entertaining. Those in the entertainment industry are extremely important. I wouldn't be doing the things that I do if I did not have my experience in entertainment, in a sense. A lot of your favorites in the spiritual community also come from entertainment. And all you got to do is a little bit of research on the individual, not researching their YouTube channel specifically. Type them in Google, type them in YouTube off of their YouTube channel. You'll find information in all type of, history about them, herstory about her, where, oh, they come from the industry. There's a difference between being in an industry and being a product of the industry. If someone's a rapper, that doesn't mean that they sold out and became a mainstream rapper by any means necessary. That person's just a good writer and they have flow and they can rock a beat. So if someone's doing that in the essence of whatever ancestor they resonate with the most, then that's who they walk through, that's who they walk from, and that is also who they are a child of. So I had this thing a little while ago where I was like, I went back spiritually, diving deeper and deeper, and I'm like, who am I a child of? And the answer I got was the devil. That was the closest answer that I got. And I'm like, okay, I'm a Capricorn, but like, I didn't think that was how it worked. So the way that it worked is I learned so much about being a Capricorn. You learn about satyrs, you learn about Pan, you learn about Hades, you learn about the underworld, you learn about everything that Christianity tells you is bad, evil, that you hate. You're supposed to go away from it. And that's simply not the case. Everything is balanced in the multiverse. So if you don't have Hades or the underworld, where do all of the dead souls go? Where do the negative entities go where they either need reform or they just need a basically spiritual jail? Where do they go? Somebody has to be in charge. So being a daughter of that essence, being a descendant of that entity, it can be scary for a lot of people because it's like, oh no, I don't want to be bad. I don't want to be a bad person. So I also resonate a lot with Azula from Avatar. She's the daughter of the Fire Lord. Fire Lord, that's a bad member Gemma right there. That's a scary guy. Azula, just as scary. So living in this timeline, knowing what I know now, if I was to represent Azula, it wouldn't be in the sense of I have to defeat the Avatar. It would be I have to assist the Avatar. In order for there to be liberation across the entire plane of Gaia, the entire Earth plane, those of us who come from those descendants of evil, basically, we have to work with the good in this lifetime. It's our karma. That's what we're faced with. Those of us who had a struggling type of childhood, our karma is from timelines and generations ago. Either somebody got a curse somewhere, or one of our ancestors did something bad to somebody somewhere, did something bad to an ancestor, entity somewhere, and we're faced with the plague of figuring out exactly what happened so that we can correct the problems and the issues. I'm at peace with that. And a lot of people just aren't at peace with the fact that they come from evil. And when we're in a world where people are obsessed with talking about the Illuminati, secret societies, and all sorts of organizations that cause harm to individuals intentionally, why is everyone scared of that? If you come from that, why are you afraid? Oh, they're going to get me. Okay, they've gotten plenty of individuals who performed their narrative, who performed their rituals, and did everything that they asked them to do. They still got them. So what is there to even lose at this point? So when you work for righteousness, despite your bloodline, despite where you come from, despite your ancestral deities, despite your ancestral entities, that whether you commune with them or they commune with other members of your family, this is the timeline to correct all wrongs and to switch destinies. If someone was destined for poverty and sadness, depression, they can realize exactly why they were destined for that, flip the script, turn that into wealth, success, happiness, and joy. It's as simple as that, but people like to overcomplicate it and make it seem as if it's something it isn't. And that's just all it is. So if we go all the way back and all the way back and all the way back, let's go to Greek mythology, right? The terminology of Greek mythology. When all the Greek gods had their kids, had their demigods, and had the other gods and goddesses that were either part human, part other entity, or they were birthed by both parents being gods or a goddess. And then they just got into all type of mess. Because if you look at that mythology, it's just a bunch of mess. Just like with the Eurasians, it's a bunch of mess. It's a bunch of mess. What are the descendants supposed to do? What are the children supposed to do? I have to correct my parents' mess. That's what it keeps being. Look at today's time. I'll use myself for an example. And again, this video is from my own personal experience. Like I said, I'm a vlogger, so I'm not teaching who Eshu or Elegba is. I am sharing my experience being a daughter of said essence. And my actual family, instead of the descendants actually getting together and sharing the generational wealth and being able to utilize that generational wealth that was left to us properly, they all decide to bicker and backer and fight with each other. Instead of being like, oh, heck, we're wealthy. Let's enjoy it. No one's been able to enjoy it for decades. Whose fault is that? The parents, obviously. If certain principles are not instilled for the children to follow, that's the responsibility of the parent. Now, here we are generations later. I don't play mess. So now that I am an adult and I have a say-so and things that happen when it comes to my generational wealth, I'm going to set the record straight and make sure that certain guidelines are followed so that everyone, because I now have my own descendant, everyone can enjoy the generational wealth, be able to benefit from it, and be able to increase their own generational wealth for the next generations to come. That can be expressed in so many different ways. A lot of people on that side of my family are also artists as well, visual artists, vocal artists, musicians, playing instruments, and we're all smart in that aspect. We're all very spiritual. Nobody likes each other for real though. People are very fake and it's just annoying. So instead of perpetuating that cycle of toxicity, I'm like, look, I'll separate myself and just deal with everything over here the way that it needs to be dealt with so that the next people don't have to deal with it in the same way that we dealt with it. You get what I mean? So it's stuff like that. And it's really exciting to be at this next level of existence and being able to just be like, I embrace this essence of who I am. I embrace where I come from. I embrace everything about me that makes me me, including my bloodline, even if it's toxic. And a lot of people really need to come to terms with the fact that they come from toxic bloodlines and not just in the form of, oh, my family is toxic and they're toxic and they're toxic and they're toxic. What are you going to do about it? A lot of people use terminologies like being a generational curse breaker, but they don't even, okay, move out my face, cuz. But they don't even realize what the curse is that they're attempting to break. And that's a whole different issue. Don't say things that you don't comprehend to the fullest extent. If you know that your family deals with a certain issue, it's not for you to create a cycle where you're in the exact same issue. If you notice that you're doing it, you're supposed to step back, do some shadow work, repent, face your ancestors, face whatever entities that assist you, your spirit team, and be like, what changes do I really need to make? Because I'm starting to notice that I'm acting like this parent. I'm starting to notice that I'm acting like this auntie. I'm starting to notice I'm acting like this uncle, this cousin, this grandparent, that great grandparent. In the bad way. Because you can exemplify behaviors that are positive and constructive. So it's important to acknowledge that as well. But yeah, like I said, I'm very happy and satisfied with myself in a sense, because it's just kind of like, okay, we're at the next level, we're doing this, and I'm looking forward to everyone doing the same thing, if not better than me. I mean, really, I'm just a messenger. It's like, hey, get your shit together because I'm doing what I can to get my shit together. A lot of y'all saw my garden some years ago, and now I got pequeño garden, and it's okay. It's okay to restart. It's okay to have situations happen, and it's okay to be real with yourself, be real with those around you, and just be like, oh well, I gotta try again. So yeah. All right. Bye, Rainicorns. I will see you in the next one. And I got ponytail because I'm cute. I cute. Okay. Bye.